What's up? Big Kirk 916, positivity, motivation, never settle for average. Go pick you up some merch at bigkirk916.com and represent, or grab you a bar of soap and wash your ass. Don't walk around smelling funky. What's going on with Florida, man? NAACP just issued a travel warning for black people. Imagine that. A travel warning like you're going down to Mexico and you're dealing with the cartels, or you're going to the Middle East and you're dealing with a hostile situation. What is so hostile about Florida? I'm not currently living in Florida, but I've been to the Bama coast, and this is during the quote-unquote lockdown, and I found nothing hostile about it. What I did see was that the governor of Florida, DeSantis, had a Kraken out there. You know, businesses were still open. Mom and pops weren't losing their livelihood because of some bullshit. Freedom, kids being somewhat protected in schools without all the nonsense they're teaching in a lot of these California schools and a lot of these other schools that are promoting predatory behavior. You know, critical race theory. Everybody wants to say he doesn't want to teach black history, but woke history is not black history. And if you really want to talk about black history, first and foremost, a lot of you need to be teaching your kids about Robert Smalls, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, a lot of these people at home, and not think that a school is going to do justice for people who have impacted our history. And to get even deeper, let's get into some real black history and let's talk about the Moors. Let's talk about the Moors who were here before the British, who had a treaty, that were living in the United States, that were actually free, and that treaty to some degree got violated, and some of these individuals who were previously free men got caught up in the slavery, but there were also those who weren't enslaved, who had white indentured servants. Let's talk about that. Now, as far as me, worried about a white man terrorizing me, living in fear, not wanting to go to Florida, man, shit. I would be more worried about my livelihood going to some of the places in the Bay Area, Oakland or Chicago or Philadelphia, certain parts of New York, and not getting mugged because of being, I'm a black man and could be considered a target depending on how I'm dressed. So I don't have a fear of a white man, and really I don't really have a fear of a black man. I'm just talking about the threat. And in my life experiences, there have been more threats from people that look like me than people who didn't. On the streets and in prison, because of the way I carried myself, the way I talked, the fact that I was intelligent. A lot of fellow black males thought I felt I was better than them, so they felt threatened. And the flip side of that, because a lot of other black men respected my knowledge and the fact that I was helping other brothers, they looked out for me. So yeah, man, they use the NAACP, in my opinion, as the gatekeepers. Anytime you have somebody who could possibly sway votes among the black populace, they have to use what's considered one of the most powerful words in our dictionary in American culture, racist. and create emotion. There's no logic behind it. When you think about it, it's saying blacks are being, overly policed in Dade County, for instance, during the spring break. Well, if you look at the videos, the behavior was out of control, man. It's a policing of behavior. And I've been around, black folks had a good time, and I've seen where, police don't do shit. They're chilling, doing their thing. But when you stand on top of cars, you're tearing up shit, and you're breaking stuff, like they were doing down in South Beach or down in downtown Chicago, and then there's no accountability. What do you expect, man? When you act like that, what do you expect? I've never seen these so-called leaders have any accountability. They blame everything on, well, they're acting like that because of slavery. No, they're not. They're acting like that because they need reparations. No, they're not. These kids are very intelligent. A lot of them is educated. A lot of them have multiple online businesses or some type of hustle going on. They're playing these damn video games. They're on Twitch, Discord. They're not stupid, man. You make them sound like they're a bunch of just out of control animals. And if they are acting out of control, it's because they choose to, but they're not stupid, and they know exactly what they're doing. These are orchestrated actions, and I've seen people get together and there be no violence. Good times, music, barbecues, everybody enjoying themselves. So don't try to say that, oh man, they're being, no, man, when you act like that, you're doing it and you don't care, man. It's like the kid who got murdered in South Beach. The guy ran up to him and shot him in the head for what, man? When you got stuff like that, of course it's going to create fear. It's going to result in certain laws being passed, certain curfews and things being implemented. But you brought that on yourself. I always tell people, man, you're on display wherever you go. My grandfather used to say, my grandmother, when you go outside, you represent our family. Think about that. You're a reflection of society. And so people, they don't have the time to go and look at every individual and say, oh, you're different, you're different, you're different. They just group everybody up, and then you have to show otherwise. But yeah, them kids, man, I mean, if I lived out there, I would have wanted it too. I mean, do you want people just tearing up your downtown for a spring break and then leaving and leaving destruction? I mean, come on, man. Hey, people walking around and, oh man, DeSantis. Look, man, I'm not, like I said, living in Florida, but from what I can see and the bullshit that that a lot of other states are allowing to happen and the lack of accountability, hey man, shout out to Florida. I got some friends that moved out there during this whole post lockdown stuff, and it was one of the best things they did for their kids. They got the hell out of California. I go back and visit now, and it's a far cry from what it was when I grew up, and I never voted or participated in any type of politics. But now, in my later knowledge, I could look and say that, I could see there's some out-of-pocket shit going on, and I can see the agenda, and if you don't see it, you're blind to it. But, everybody's mad because the last guy who ran for governor, they didn't like the fact that he got caught with his pants down. He was doing some things that weren't becoming, using drugs, participating in some other activity that wasn't very representative of a family man, and he lost the race, and a lot of people are still bitter about that. But at the end of the day, man, look, man, a lot of you, if you really do your homework and you start seeing that there were, in the past, were a lot of successful black people. You had a lot of people who were doing their thing, and you got a lot of black people who don't even act like the ones we see projected on the media. Media picks and chooses what they want because it's a narrative. They don't show the black kids graduating from the colleges, doing the dancing, and the families that are cheering, and all the kids who don't get in trouble, the kids who aren't in the streets, the kids who aren't breaking into cars at night. They don't show none of that. They show you all the chaos, and then you got, right after that, a race baiter coming in and saying, oh man, they're targeting our kids. It's always that. Do you not see the cycle of that on all these channels? Whether it's CNN, MSNBC, ABC, a lot of these major networks, they all chime into the same thing, and then you get some dude from the NAACP who's got a bag, and he says exactly what they want him to say, but they don't want to put me on there. They don't want to put me on a platform like that to share some things. And I've been through all facets of the system and been around poor blacks, been around rich blacks, been around poor Mexicans, rich Mexicans, poor whites, rich whites. And I'll tell you right now, the thing that everybody has in common is that poor does not hang out with rich. Those rich blacks, the ones who have the means, the ones who are out here, you know, trying to talk for the ones in the streets, they're not hanging out with them. They full of shit. And nobody wants to speak on it, but I'll speak on it. And I talk from experience, man. I've been around both cultures, man, and a lot of times it's mentality, you know. I'd never really met anybody who was poor that didn't distinguish or have anything in common with a person that they felt that was capable of helping them. And it was a mental state. It wasn't that they were poor financially, it's poor that they were poor mentally. But given an opportunity, a lot of those people would capitalize on it. But some people just don't want to put the work in. They're just, hey, you know, it is what it is. And I'll tell you, the reason I say that, and people can say, oh man, you don't know. I'm like, look, I'll tell you, man, I used to walk around the penitentiary with a Forbes, Wall Street Journal, DuPont Register, Robb Report, Vanity Fair, Business Weekly, and the brothers that would see me walk around with those books, going to the law library, reading, talking with other brothers, a lot of sharp brothers in there, man, and they would see me come in after recall, and they'd be, the whole time I was gone, you know what they were doing? They were watching BET or sports. They would be angry at me because I wasn't sitting in front of the TV with them. They would be mad. Could you imagine that? These dudes were mad because I was studying. Now, the Mexicans that used to see me studying, the white guys, they used to be like, damn, Big Herc, you always reading something, man. They respected it. They respected it, man. They were like, dude, you know, it seems like you're out here, you know, you're in here trying to do something. But the brothers that was in the law library were cool because they were, you know, we were sharing information, trading magazines and books and stuff, knowledge. A lot of Moors. I messed with a lot of Moors in there. A lot of 5%ers. You know, a lot of guys, very, very well-rounded, educated brothers, man. But the guys who didn't go to the law library, who just walked the track looking to get into some shit, they used to be looking at me crazy, man. The same way a lot of these people who aren't trying to do the right thing are looking at you thinking you're crazy. Look, man, a travel warrant in Florida, they don't want blacks to wake up. See, once they don't have anything to bait us with their vote, we're no longer an asset to them. Once they flood this place with all the illegals and they got them doing what they want to do, they're going to kick blacks to the curb. You see how they're doing it right now, just letting them come live in your neighborhoods, giving them all the benefits. You know, you ain't getting a cell phone with the app with all the jobs lined up for you. Are you getting 6 months free rent? Why don't you guys go cross the border and then come back and then get 6 months? See what you can do in 6 months if you got free rent or a check. They don't care about you, man. See, instead of talking about Florida, they need to be talking about the people who aren't coming over here the right way, who are getting all the benefits that you guys should be getting if you apply for them. But they're not talking about that. They're just trying to get your vote. But like I said, in another 2-3 generations, when your vote's no longer needed, man, they're gonna treat you like cousin Spanky. You ain't getting no love, man. Y'all better wake up, man. And like I said, NAACP, you wanna holler? Let's holler. Let's chop it up. Get a real one on here. Somebody who's not claiming victim, who's been in the system. Let's chop it up. Let's talk history, man. Let's talk about Moors. Let's talk about before Columbus came over. Let's talk about those who were involved in the slave trade that were black. Not trying to downplay the roles of Europeans, but let's talk about the whole game, man. And let's not try to isolate it to woke history. Let's talk about some real shit. Big Herc 916. Hello, my name is Big Herc 916, and I'm with the Wash Your Ass Committee, and I'm traveling across America helping people wash their ass and get their booty holes clean. And I have with me here today Wash Your Ass Soap, and this one in particular is Butt Naked Scrub, but I also have Festival, Oatmeal Milk and Honey, Jamaican Me Crazy, Monkey Farts, and all these scents smell very good. They will help cleanse your body of funk and also make you feel better about yourself. So if you can go to BigHerc916.com, you can pick you up a bar, and my goal is to help America combat funk. Stop walking around with a crusty butt, smelly ball sack, and a funky hoo-ha. Big Herc said, wash that ass. Pick you up a t-shirt at FreshOutSeries.com. Go to the Herc store at BigHerc916.com and pick you up a bar of soap so you can wash that ass, or pick you up some Never Settle for Average merch or some of the Muscleup Car Lifestyle merch. We have hats, Never Settle for Average. Got the Muscleup t-shirts. We also have the Never Settle for Average tank tops. Got the Muscleup Car Lifestyle hoodies. Got the beanie caps. Hey man, represent. And I know you guys aren't average, so pick you up some swag and step your game up. Hello, I'm Big Herc 916. Contact me for life coaching and motivational speaking.